Welcome to the Finding Joy in the Journey podcast. This is Sheridan Ripley from Enjoy Life. I'm a wife and a mother of 3 boys ranging from 22 to 14. I'm an author of 5.5 books. I love to teach my online classes and I love to share tips and tools with you. Today, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite tools, which is raising your vibration. And I'm actually going to share a few different tools. They're all simple, but they're all different ways you can raise your vibration. So first, of course, I need to explain what are vibrations. Vibrations can be found in words, feelings, thoughts, things, and places. I have this wonderful chart that I used to have hanging on our front door of different words. So I'm going to go ahead and read these words in different chunks, and I want you to notice how it feels in your body. It will actually these words will create like a vibration in you. So here's my first set of words: judgment, worry, guilt, fear, anger, pride, blame, shame, apathy. How did those words feel in your body? I tried to read them in a very neutral way, but most people, if you were here talking with me, would say something like they feel kind of heavy or sad or just not very happy vibrations, right? Kind of like low. Then we have these words: neutral, curious, courage. How do those words make you feel? Most people say better, not maybe super, but definitely better than those other words. So then I'll say these words, the next set: peace, hope, love, forgiveness, acceptance, gratitude, praise, charity. So what does that feel like in your body, those words? And most people say they feel lighter, hopeful, just it feels better, right? Like if you could rate them on a scale, they'd feel better. And I actually have a chart, a vibration chart, the one that I hung on my door, and it goes like highest to lowest, where those higher ones are on the top and the lower ones are on the bottom. My very first tip is to be aware of where you are on this vibrational chart and accept it. It is part of being human to have some of these lower vibrations. It's human to judge people. It's human to feel fear sometimes. It's human to feel apathy sometimes. All these things are normal. So the very first thing, by just being aware and accepting it, being kind to ourselves, and just observing that with curiosity, is often enough to let it flow through us and allow us to move up on that scale. In another one of my podcasts where I talk about how our brain works, I talk about the 90-second rule, how hormones will spill in our brain and they cause us to feel feelings or have thoughts. And if we can just accept that and allow it to flow through our body and our brain, literally it takes 90 seconds for your brain to process those hormones. Again, being aware and accepting these lower vibrations can help us move up to maybe curiosity or neutral. I used to always try and help my students jump up to the really higher vibrations like hope and peace and charity. Like those are great, but often that's really challenging to go from like anger up to hope. So I now really strive for neutral and curious, and I'm going to have a whole podcast on neutral, curious, and courage and how that's the trifecta of shifting up. But the very first step is to be aware and accept where you are. Now let's break it down into the different ways or the different things that have vibrations. Words are the first thing we're going to look at. So I want you to make sure that you use the word I am very intentionally. They're very powerful words, and we want to only say I am when we actually want to be that thing. So for instance, let's say I'm feeling angry because my husband didn't do the dishes. This will be the example I use all the time because it's a pretty neutral thing, right? So if I say, I am angry that he didn't do the dishes, that feels very different than saying, I feel angry because he didn't do the dishes. When I say I am angry, it's like I own it and I'm holding on to it, and it's very difficult to shift or change from that. But I want to move up from anger to curious, like, I'm curious why he didn't do the dishes. So if instead I am aware that I'm feeling angry, and then I accept it by saying, I feel angry, and let that flow through me for 90 seconds, then it's going to be so much easier for me to shift up to, I'm curious why he didn't do the dishes. So it gives an opening for change versus holding on to the I am. So try using I did or I feel. This is a good challenge for the week. And it's really tricky at first to do this, to change your words this way. The next vibrations that we're going to look at are feelings. A lot of people have difficulty even being aware of what they're feeling or naming it. So I have a chart that I'm actually going to allow you to download as a gift that are your basic feelings. And this is great, especially for kids, because I have it set up like a stop light where there's green, yellow, and red, and then had to add blue. So there's happy, afraid, angry, and sad. These are all different emotions and feelings that we can have. I think any emotion can fall within those 4 basic ones. Then there's feeling wheels. Now you can Google feeling wheels and come up with so many. There's great ones. Some have so many words it's overwhelming. So I have this smaller one, again, that you're going to be able to download that divides it into those 4 categories, but then has more within it. So for example, under angry, there's annoyed and upset, mad, jealous, judgment, embarrassed. Those are all feelings that could fall within that. When you're feeling something, it's great to be able to pause and look at a feeling wheel and say, wait, what am I exactly feeling? Because so often I'll just feel like I'm angry. See, I don't even say I feel angry, right? Because when you're angry, it's so easy to just be like, no, I'm angry. But I want to say I feel angry. Okay, what am I really feeling? And then when I look at this, I realize that I'm feeling annoyed or I'm feeling embarrassed. And that clarity then helps me to shift to something different. For me, a feeling wheel was a wonderful tool for helping me to be able to be aware and to name what it is that I am feeling. Here's how we name our emotion. We say, I feel embarrassed, or whatever it is you're feeling, with no judgment, just accept it. I feel embarrassed. It will come up with all the reasons why, yes, you should feel embarrassed, or it will just increase those hormones of like, really, you're embarrassed. So instead, if we can just say, I feel embarrassed, okay, and just kind of feel that feeling and allow it to flow through you, and knowing that it's safe to feel feelings. It's okay. It's just a vibration in your body that allows it to shift and move through you. Also, breathing, taking nice deep breaths while you're feeling things also helps it to move through you. I'm pretty sure it's on the sheet that you can download. The other thing that has vibration are thoughts. What really helped me to shift and allow my thoughts to flow through me instead of being stuck is to recognize that you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are just things in your brain. They're words in your brain. And just because I think something, it doesn't mean that's who I am. When I have a random mean thought, I like to think that's not my thought. And it's like almost either it's a balloon that I'm holding with a mean thought. I'm like, nope, and I'm just going to let it go and float away. Or let's say somebody says something to me that's mean, and it makes a thought in my brain. They're like, you're so dumb. And so then I have a thought in my brain, oh my gosh, I am dumb. Then it's like it's a piece of paper they handed me, and I can choose whether I'm going to keep it or not. So I could crumple it up and throw it on the ground, or I could just let it go and say, maybe that's a good time to say, well, I feel dumb because I did that, but I'm smart, or I can do better next time. Changing our thoughts is super, super powerful. And I believe in that. That's one of the things that I help coach people with. I also pair it with changing your feelings and being aware of the hormones that come into play with it, because especially if there's trauma or really embedded patterns, it takes that deeper awareness to actually be able to change your thoughts. So other people and things and places actually have vibrations as well. However, I think that's going to be a whole separate podcast because it's kind of fun and I can spend more time on that. So just know that people, things, and places can also have their own vibrations, and it's good to be aware of that. So I hope that today's podcast was helpful in, first off, understanding what vibrations are, and then also how you can raise them with these simple tools. Being aware of the vibrations in your body and accepting them, using the powerful words of I feel, and then knowing that you can let your thoughts float away like a balloon or dropping thoughts like a piece of paper. It's not something you have to hold on to. And these are very simple tools that can help you to raise your vibrations. So I do have a gift for you today. If you visit my website and visit the show notes for this podcast, then you can get access to a Feel Your Feelings handout with the simplified feeling wheel that is perfect for people that are just learning to name their feelings and really awesome for kids. So thanks for listening to today. Please take time to subscribe so you never miss a tip or a tool. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please go ahead and leave me a nice review and share it with your friends. Enjoy!